Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm here to do just a real quick analysis on Substratum on the Binance Exchange. This is by request. And of course, before I get started, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you joining us tonight. And also, what I'm about ready to go over is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look here. So a couple things that I've noticed here on Substratum. Of course, it had its normal pump after it got listed on the Binance exchange. This tends to be a common occurrence when an exchange such as Binance gets a coin listed on it. Usually before, if it's on a decent exchange prior to listing on Binance. There will be a nice pump there. If it hasn't been listed on an exchange that is widely known, then or widely used rather, then typically that major pump will happen, a short while after it does get on the Binance exchange. So that had already happened with this. This happened a long time ago. This happened basically at the beginning of January. Right along the time that everything else was going crazy. So it's gone through a good valley, and you can see with my volume profile, you're able to see that the price control is sitting at about 5,100. So that's the price that we're looking at for there to be significant amount of support, because there has been support in this price range previously. And you can see in this current range, in this price range, there's just a really significant amount of volume that has occurred within this price range. You can see that there is a little bit of a valley with a peak here at about 67.50 or so. So there's a little bit of a peak there, and you can see there is a little bump here on April the 12th or so, somewhere in that little area. So there's a little bit of a bump there, and then also right here we can see that there was some resistance. We saw some support here at this level. So this is an important level. I'm just going to go ahead and mark this just so that we've kind of got this marked out here. This isn't a price control point, but we can see this is a definite support and resistance level at that particular price range. Now we do see our price control, which is the price range that has the most significant volume traded. That's what that point of control is. And so this price point right here, we do expect to see a significant amount of support. If it falls through this support, then of course we have still some strong volume here at about the 4,600 to 4,700, maybe even all the way down to about 4,450. So we do see in this range a little bit of support that's sort of kind of left over from the main support that we see here at this price range. And we can see that it didn't really dip down much farther than that. Back here we see in March, there was a little bit of a dip that happened back here, but it really kept to this price range and finally did sort of take off a little bit. And if you take a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can see that the TK lines did cross here on the 13th of April, and that's basically when the price was able to sort of make its way up to about 11,000. And if we're looking at this from a point of view of trading activity, if you were to be trading based on the TK lines, that's a 70% increase in price. If you were to purchase right on this day when the price, when the TK lines crossed, and the highest point there, so the most profit potential you would have had is about 70% almost. That's sort of best case scenario. But let's take a look here. Of course, we had a sort of a shooting star pattern here on this day. There was a lot of attempts to really push up, but it just wasn't able to get through that point, and it was pushed right back down. It just wasn't enough to get it to keep going up. Too many people taking profit at that point, and naturally so. So what did this create? What did this create? This created a higher high, and we could see a clear rejection right here. So this is a clear rejection that we saw on this candle pattern right here, which is a really bad indicator. This is an indicator to let us know things are going down. And where is it going to stop? We really don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess it's going to be somewhere here. I think that we're going to see the bottom of Substratum soon. I don't recommend taking a position at this time if you're looking to sell and accumulate. It's slightly risky, right? Because we do expect to see a little bit of support here, here in the near future, and there are some that are already starting to see a little bit of a rally upward. Um, I do have a volume analysis that I run that kind of tells me when things are starting to turn around. I'm already seeing the BCPT, CVC, PTC. There's several SPR, even lumens is starting to sort of turn around a little bit. Now that can all stop at any time, but nonetheless, we do see this price has been going down for quite some time. There is some opportunities for swinging. If we're looking at Elliott wave, we do have 1, 2, 3, so that's our third dive that we have done here. So we do expect at some point this is going to kind of pick up and turn around. And I guess that's kind of a Mr. Obvious type statement to make, but nonetheless, we do expect to see at some point this to sort of turn around. But um, don't be too quick to buy in, right? So even though we have our price control range that we have set here based on volume at about 5,000 to 5,200, you want to make sure that you have a clear indication that there is a reversal. Right now, the RSI is not looking the greatest. Right now, the Stochc RSI is not looking the greatest. Right now, the MACD doesn't look so hot. Everything is looking just really, really terrible right now on the 1-day chart. If you want to look at the 1-hour chart, you can see here there was an attempt to see some positive price action, and you can see there's a lot of volume here, but it was very indecisive. There was a long wick on top and a long wick on bottom, which is a very indecisive candle there on the 1-hour. If you look at the 4-hour, very similar. Very similar. And so really there's just a lot of fighting going on here. It's really all that's happening. You have people trying to take profit. You have people trying to buy and accumulate. So there's a lot of fighting happening here. We had a squeeze on the 4-hour chart for a long time. Came out of that squeeze very poorly, and it's been kind of going down ever since then. Don't have any squeeze indicators that's showing up on the 1-hour or on the 1-day, and it really doesn't look like it's going to happen on the 4-hour anytime soon. If it does, it will only happen for a very short period of time. So just be careful, because this is, sort of rounding off. You can see this isn't a normal chart pattern where you can see a really clear, clear line here. This is very curved, so it's not a normal price action that's occurring here. So just need to sort of watch and wait and see what happens. This isn't really a cup that's forming, because the cup hasn't really. Um, hasn't really formed the way that it should, at least the way that we see it here. The best that I can see is this could potentially have formed an XABCD pattern, which let's just say that we start this about right here, XABCD. Doesn't follow all the rules exactly, but typically that D is going to kind of come back to a very similar price point that X, where it started. So we do have a little bit of that formation that's maybe potentially trying to happen here, and I do expect that some of the big signal groups will probably start signaling this based on some of those things that I have just mentioned here. So we've got the bearish, the higher high, and then a reversal. So it's starting to move down. But once we get back down to this level, I do expect to see some volume pick up. And if that volume picks up and crosses over our average here, you see we're getting very close, because our average is starting to sort of wean off a little bit. If our volume is able to pick up and sort of cross over that average, that's a good indicator that there's going to be a lot of fighting happening at that price point. What it really means is there are people interested in that price. And so if it's able to accumulate at that level, that could be a good sign. So, take a look for a potential double bottom or triple bottom here on the 1 day, or even drilling down a little bit into the 1 hour or 4 hour charts and watch to see what happens. I wouldn't say that, I'm not going to say, yo, this is a great buy of 47.85. I'm not going to say, oh, this is a great buy of 4600. I'm just saying you need to wait, you need to be patient, and you need to see what happens, because that's going to be where you're going to have the least amount of risk. Everybody wants to have as much profit as possible, but it's very important that you wait to see how the market reacts, and you want to wait and trade on a clear and confirmed breakout. But right now, on this coin in particular, my opinion is looks really bad, and everything's going to sort of turn around at some point. It's just a matter of when that's going to happen. So you want to wait for that to occur. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to like, subscribe, share, all those good things. We'd love to have you in the Discord as well, and that link is inside of the description. So hopefully everybody has a good night, and I'll talk to you.